I'm using a smaller, okay, I was gonna blind you guys. Hello and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Emily, also known as Withredliips, and in today's video we are doing a get ready with me for date night. So depending on what date night means to you, for me it means date night in. We do a lot of cooking and baking in my apartment, so we love getting dressed up. I love doing my makeup and having a cute little date night in. The past year we've learned to make do with what we have indoors, so even though we do like going out from time to time with the limited restrictions that are out there, we do prefer date night ins because we can make exactly what we want. We can watch a movie, we can get dressed up, we can do it all here, and it's quiet and it's comfortable and it's chill. So tonight we will be getting ready for that, and I did a makeup look that just makes me feel good. Nude lip, a little bit more smoky than I intended to on the eyes, but what else is new with me? Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you do like the video. Let me know in the comments down below what videos you want to see in the future, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you go. It means the world to me, and I would love to have you on this little YouTube community. With that being said, let's get right into today's video. Starting off, I'm going to be using my NARS Radiance Primer. Whenever I know I'm going out or we're doing date night, I want to use products that make me feel my absolute best, and you guys know I love this primer so much, so that's why we're going to use it today. Apply this with my fingers all over my face. It gives me a nice glow. It feels like a moisturizer, which is really awesome. It's not heavy at all. For foundation today, I'm sure you already guessed, I'm using the Hydromaniac Tinted Hydrator from Urban Decay. The reason I'm using this is because we're going to be inside, so I don't have to wear a full coverage foundation, but it just makes my skin look so good, and I find that if I'm wearing this, I don't need something full coverage. It looks beautiful, it looks seamless, but it lets my skin breathe, so I'm a big fan. So I just dot that all over my face, and I begin to blend with my foundation brush. For my foundation brush today, I'm using the Zoeva 132. Any buffing brush will do. You can use a beauty blender, but if you use a beauty sponge with something that's already tinted, it's going to absorb a lot of the coverage. So since this already has light coverage, I want to get as much coverage possible. So using a beauty blender would be counterproductive. Now that our base is down, I'm going to go in with the Major Sculpting Cream from Patrick Ta in the shade She's Sculpted to cream contour my face, and then we're going to go in with cream blush. You can go in with concealer before you cream, bronze, and put on blush and all that, but I like to do it before, because once I put on my concealer, I like to begin to set my face. If I set my face with powder before I put on the bronzer, it might make the product skip over here, because I do apply powder all underneath my eye. I don't use a ton of product when I cream bronze because I'm not underpainting or anything. I'm not trying to make it the focal point of the look. I'm just laying down a nice base for when we put on our powder bronzer. And I'll just go over with my foundation brush just to make sure everything is blended. I didn't add any extra product to it. It's whatever is left over on the brush, and that's just to press the product further into the skin. So now I'm going to go in with Cali Dream Blush Light from Melt Cosmetics. I love their blushes, and their cream blushes are super pigmented. They're really beautiful. And this packs a punch with pigment, so definitely can be sparing with this one. So as you can see, we have some dimension in the skin. I think the cream products lay so well under powder, so I'm really excited to finish off the skin. Next, I'm going to be going in with a new concealer. I haven't tried this before. It's the Pat McGrath Labs concealer. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so during the Sephora sale I picked it up, but I have yet to use it because I'm addicted to my e.l.f. concealer, but I'm super excited to try this out today. Oh, and I got the shade L3, so I did get a lighter shade because I tend to buy a lot of products for when I fake tan and then I don't fake tan, so I end up not using them as much. I really like the consistency of this right off the bat. It's not super liquidy, but it's not super thick either, so I really like that. So going over the problem areas with some concealer will help to further cover them. And then I'm also going to go in with a setting powder that has color to it to also help cover up those red marks around my chin. I've been breaking out and picking at them, which you are definitely not supposed to do, but I do it anyway. Even though I always preach about skincare and taking care of your skin, I think that's typical. You shouldn't do it nonetheless. Don't pick your face, it's not good. I'm really liking the way this is blending out, and I really love the color match. Yeah, this is a really nice concealer. I'm really glad I picked it up. It's been raved about forever, but I just have so many concealers that I haven't used, so I was trying to use those up first, and I really love this one. So now that I gave my under eye a little bit of time to set, I'm gonna go in and blend it out. I always leave my under eye for last when I'm blending out concealer, because the more you let it set, the more coverage you'll get. It'll just give you a little extra coverage and a little boost to your concealer. This is something that I do pretty much weekly. I feel like every Friday or Saturday, it's typically a Saturday, we do a date night, and we've had a couple out since things have been back open, but I think we just prefer date nights in because we love to cook and we love to make our own food. And like I said, I love to bake, so why go out when you could stay and you have everything you need right at home? That's definitely one thing that I love that we've done over the past year while everything was shut down. We just learned to make it work at home, and now it's one of our favorite things to do. And it gives you an excuse to get dressed up and do your makeup and feel good and feel poppin', because while being at home is a lot of fun, you can also get like really complacent in your routine. And then I know for a while I stopped doing my makeup and I got really like blah. So having these reasons to do my makeup really helped me get out of my boring routine. Now that I've been blending out my concealer for what seems like forever, I'm going in with the Huda Beauty setting powder in Cupcake to set my under eye. And for those of you that are new, I do use two different sponges. I use one for my concealer and then I use one for my powder. Just because if I use the same one for the concealer and the powder, I find that my concealer gets really gunky and cakey. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but if it has, try just using a separate beauty sponge. I know it's tedious, and depending on what sponge you get, it could be expensive to have too, but this is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer Sponge. You can get it at like Target or Ulta or any drugstore that sells e.l.f. and it's about $5. And this is probably my favorite beauty sponge. I used to use it for concealer until I just opened up a random beauty blender that I had, but this sponge is amazing. I'm using a smaller, I was gonna blind you guys. I'm using a smaller mirror too today because I find that my mirror just keeps getting in the way. So I found this cute one from Melt and I was like, you know what? You're going in my video. And then for around my blemishes or anywhere that I want a little extra coverage, I'm gonna go in with the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in the shade Breezy. And I'm just gonna take that on my tapered brush and pat over. I'm not gonna swipe because I wanna add coverage, and if you swipe, you risk taking away some coverage. So now that we set the concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and set the bronzer and the blush. I'm just gonna go back in with the Patrick Ta Major Sculpting Duo, and I'm gonna use the powder in there to bronze my skin. And I'm just applying that anywhere I applied the initial cream contour. And because we already have like a tint down, we don't have to use so much powder. So the skin still looks really radiant and pretty. So to set the cream blush, I'm going in with Honey Thief blush from Melt. So I use Cali Dream in the cream blush, and I'm going in with Honey Thief in the powder blush. Honey Thief just has a little bit more pink to it, so I thought a peachy pink for this look would be really cute. And I'm just smiling, and then on the apples, and you know, I bring it in a little bit more and upward. So now that we set our face and all of our powders are on, I'm gonna go in with the Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Spray from Charlotte Tilbury. This is just to melt all the powder into the skin and give our skin a more luminous finish and then increase the longevity of our makeup. This really does help with keeping your makeup on all day. I always find that my complexion looks best when I use this guy, and she's almost out, so I need to buy a new one pretty soon. She's almost out because I use about 15 sprays every single day of my life. Now that our complexion's done, I'm gonna go in with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, per usual, and prime my eyes for the eyeshadow. For this look, I definitely wanna do something a little more romantic and smoky. I typically always put on neutral shadows when I do a date night look. I just feel my best in those. Whenever you want to feel like strong, sophisticated, sexy, empowered, always put on what you love. Do everything you can to make yourself feel your absolute best, whatever that is, and go about your day. Go on your date. Have a date with yourself. It doesn't really matter. But I think that all of these things really play a big part in self-care. So that's why I love putting in the effort and like getting ready for 2 hours. It's not a bother to me. It's therapeutic and it makes me happy. And then I cook and I bake and I'm just, you know, living my best life. Let me know in the comments below what you do in order to let you live your best life. What makes you you? What makes you happy? For eyeshadow today, I'm using the Neutral Browns Petite Stack from Melt. This was a launch of theirs a little bit ago, and I really, really love the eyeshadows. Their eyeshadows are beautiful, but it's just a neutral brown stack. They're like little stackable shadows, and they're so cute and small, but the colors are gorgeous, and to create like a sexy date night look, these are perfect. And if you're someone that doesn't love eyeshadow or doesn't really know how to get into it, that's a perfect little stack because they're just so small, very little commitment. So I'm taking the first neutral brown shade, it's like a mid-tone brown, and I'm gonna start applying that to my crease. I'm gonna try to focus most of the color on my outer corner, and I say try because I always bring it so far on the inner corner, and then it just turns into like super smoky, super grungy for me anyway. So I'm gonna try to keep it on the outer corner today, but still blown out and smoky. So when I apply it, I just press the brush into my crease and I start diffusing it. I'll lightly bring it into the inner crease, but I'm focusing on blending it out into the outer crease and giving it more of a wing shape. Next, I'm going in with the mid-tone brown. It's a little bit deeper, and I'm gonna apply that on the outer corner and lightly bring that up into my crease. Again, I'm keeping all of the intensity on the outer corner and winging it out a little bit. And in order to diffuse this, I'll go back in with the first fluffy brush that we used and start to blow it out even more. When I want to get a certain amount of intensity with the shadow, I'll just keep packing it on and blending it out until I like the look of it. I don't go in with a lot of shadow at once unless I'm doing something super grungy and smoky and I know I want it to be super dark. So I'll just pack that color on and then blend it out. But for something like this, I'm just lightly packing it on and then blending it out, going back and forth between the shadows and the brushes just to make sure everything has a smooth, seamless blend. So now I'm gonna go in with a flat brush and I'm gonna take the only shimmer shade that they have in this palette and I'm gonna apply that all over my lid and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit into the crease. And of course, for this step, I'm gonna spray my brush because shimmer shadows just do best when they are a little damp, in my opinion, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just pressing that all over the lid. And then on the inner corner, I'm bringing it up a little bit higher than I normally would. to give a nice soft wash of shimmer all over. And then to help blend everything together, I'll go back in with my fluffy brush and just diffuse the harsh edges because I don't want to cut crease in this look at all. I just want it to be shimmery, light, bright, romantic. This shade is so pretty for being the only shimmer shade in the palette, in the stack. I keep calling it a palette. In the stack, it is gorgeous. I'm just going back and reinforcing that deeper color on the outer corner, making sure everything is nice and blended. For this look, you can just do a smudgy black liner. That's something that I do very often. Or you could do wing liner. I'm gonna actually use brown liquid liner. This is the Epic ink liner from NYX in the shade brown. And I'm gonna do a little wing. It's kind of gonna be like a fox eye wing, but I'm not gonna bring it all the way to the inner corner. I'm just going to elongate my eye and then smoke it out because I think that looks really romantic and sexy. And sticking with the theme of the video and for date night, I wanna make my eyes look as sexy as possible. So a wing smoky liner, like a smoky wing liner makes me feel my best. I'm just taking 7B brush from Anastasia with a little bit of concealer on it, and I'm gonna mold the liner to exactly how I want it. If you want to know more in depth how I do my liquid liner, I will link the fox eye tutorial that I did, which goes really in depth. But basically what I'm doing is taking concealer and stretching the liner out to give it a more precise thin line on the end. And then as we go in, it'll get a little thicker. And then when we smoke it out, it'll look absolutely perfect. So next I'm taking a very, very small pencil brush and I'm going to take the deepest shade in that stack. It's a very dark brown and I'm going to go over that liner. And I'm just gonna start to press that shade over it and begin to smoke it out and diffuse the harsh line. So I'm just pressing and shaking the brush along the liner. And then again, I'll go over with my fluffy brush and just blend everything together. And I extend the shadow as outward as I extend my liner to give my eye a little bit more of a lifted look. So as you can see, this being the more subtle romantic eye and this being a little bit more dramatic, I like both, I wear both. I just felt like doing a wing today and being a little extra. So that is the wing for today. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other liner off camera, and then when we come back, we're gonna put on false lashes, finish off the lower lash line, add a lip, get really ready for this date night. So I'm very excited. That both eyeliners are on, I'm gonna go in with the deepest shade in the palette again, and I'm going to run that along my lower lash line. And I'm keeping it pretty close to the lash line because we're gonna smudge it out and blow it out in a little bit. Using the same brush, I'm gonna go in with the mid-tone brown now, the one that we used in our outer crease. And I'm going to start to smudge that even further. Taking the lightest shade on a small blending brush, I'm gonna go and start to really smoke out my bottom lash line. I wasn't planning on going this smoky, but it kind of just happened, which is typically what happens with all of my eye looks when I get to my lower lash line. I just can't help smoking it out. See what I mean? In the beginning, I was like, all my looks end up a little grungy, and here I am smoking my bottom lash line out so low. Now, just because I feel like the eyes really need it, I'm taking the Epic Inkware eyeliner from NYX in the shade Deepest Brown, and I'm gonna run that along my lash line. I'm not bringing it all the way in though. I don't want to make this look too smoky, even though I kind of already did. really quick before we get into lashes, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my face and inner corner. I'm gonna go in with the Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit from Anastasia. This is Discontinued. She's old. She came out holiday in like 2019, and I'm so sorry you can't get it anymore. It's so beautiful. It's just so pretty. But I will say the Vive Nova Glow highlighters look very similar to this. So if you pick up one of those, you might not be missing out too much. This is just so pretty. So even though you might not be able to get your hands on this palette, be sure to check out the Vive highlighters because they do look very similar to this. And I think that Glow Getter and 143 would be very similar to Holy Chic from Vive. So give those a try. Those are the two that I use the most. And then if I want to be a little extra, I'll go in with Forever Lit. And then these are great for blush toppers, but definitely you can find dupes for these. So don't feel like you're missing out too much. I'm taking Glow Getter and just putting that on my inner corner. Now we can get into mascara and lashes. I'm going to use the Supernatural mascara from Melt Cosmetics. Just applying a light coat on my lashes before we apply falsies. So for lashes today, I'm actually using a new pair, which is rare for me because I keep using the same ones over and over. So I'm going in with the Lash Couture from Kiss in the style Hollywood. I just liked how fluffy these looked. These lashes are probably my favorite drugstore lashes. They have so many different styles. All of them are really well made, so I'm very excited for these guys. This is probably a really good opportunity for me to show you guys how I apply falsies and how I cut them and measure them to my eye, because I can already tell by looking at them, these are too long for me. My eyes are not that big, I wish. So when I apply lashes and when I see what I need to cut, I'll apply them in the way that I know I'm gonna put them on. So I always apply them in the center and I don't bring them all the way into the inner corner. I leave about like a little gap between my inner corner and my lash. So whatever's hanging off is what I need to cut. So I know that I need to cut about this much off, because if I don't cut that much off, that's gonna be on my inner corner and it's gonna be really uncomfortable. So I just take little scissors. A lot of brands make lash scissors. These are from Lily Lashes and they're completely filthy because I'm always using them for lashes, so there's so much glue on them. So if I go back and I measure the lash to my eye, it should fit perfectly. This might even be a little too long. I'm gonna cut a little bit more off because like I said, I don't like my lashes to be too far into my inner corner to the point where they're like pinching my inner corner. I know we've all felt that annoying pinch of a lash and it's not fun. So that should be perfect. That should lay out my eye perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply glue to these and then I'm gonna cut the other ones. So I like to make sure the glue on my lash is super tacky so the one that I put it on, it sticks. I hate it when lashes slide around your eye because I feel like the lash glue when it's wet makes my eyes water. So that's never a good thing. So I'm just applying it to my outer corner, securing it, and then I'm going to begin to secure it to the inner corner. And these are too wet for me to be applying right now, but I've already committed. Is one eyelash on and it was a perfect fit. I had no issues. Now that top and bottom lashes are done, I'm actually going to go back into the Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit with the shade Glow Getter, and I'm going to apply that to the center of my lid just to brighten up this area a little bit more. So lastly, to finish off the look with some lipstick, I'm going to go in with the All Day Everyday Lip Liner from Melt in the shade Nudist. And go ahead and line my lips. And then I'm going to go in with the Stila liquid lipstick in the shade Caramello. It's a really pretty nude pink color. And then to make this a little more nude, I'm gonna go in with the Milk Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Nude. This is their old formula. I still have it, but they did just launch the Nudes collection, which I do want to do a swatch video for, so be on the lookout for that. I'm just applying that in the center of my lip. And I'm gonna blot my lips together. And for me, this is the perfect nude lip. It's one of my go-tos. I love this color combo. I really think you should try it if you do like more of a pinky nude. So I'm gonna go do my hair and get changed off camera. I wish I could do my hair on camera, but because I don't have a mirror, I just have my phone, I wouldn't know what I was doing and I'd probably look a little crazy. I'm not that talented. So I will be right back and we will see the finished look. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and getting ready with me for date night. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Do we like videos like this? Do you want to see more get ready with me's? But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you did like it. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think and any future videos you want to see me film. And don't forget to subscribe before you go. I would love for you to join this channel and join this little YouTube community. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend or week, depending on what day you are watching this. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.